Hello students, today we will learn that how forces are developed over an impulse turbine blade. I am talking about a steam turbine in which the direction of flow of steam is in axial direction. So you can see over here there is a blade and there is a nozzle and steam is coming out from the nozzle, gliding through the inner surface of the blade and ultimately exits. Blade is moving in horizontal direction. Now suppose steam is coming out with velocity c1. Here c1 is also called as absolute velocity at inlet, because the velocity c1 is with respect to this stationary nozzle. So c1 is the absolute velocity of steam at inlet, which is represented by vector ad. Similarly, over the exit, c2 is the absolute velocity of steam at outlet. Again, c2 is with respect to the nozzle itself. So c2 is the absolute velocity of steam at outlet, represented by vector eg. Now blade is moving in horizontal direction. Therefore, in second law of motion, the rate of change of momentum with respect to time is what equal to applied force. So in horizontal direction, the initial momentum of steam is what? In case steam is coming out with mass flow rate of m kg per second, definitely the initial momentum in horizontal direction of steam would be c1 cos alpha 1 into m. Okay. Similarly, over the outlet, the final momentum of steam in horizontal direction must be c2 cos alpha 2 into m, but negative. The reason of negative is that vector fg is in negative direction of x while vector bd is in positive direction of x. So once again, the final momentum of steam in horizontal direction over the exit of blade is equals to m c2 cos alpha 2 but negative, and the initial momentum of steam in horizontal direction over the inlet of blade is equals to m c1 cos alpha 1 but positive. Now final momentum of steam minus initial momentum of steam in horizontal direction is what? The change of momentum. It is like this. So force developed over the blade would be the final momentum in horizontal direction, that is minus m c2 cos alpha 2 minus the initial momentum, that is m c1 cos alpha 1. Now this is the applied force, because here m is in kg per second. This is the mass flow rate. So per second this much momentum change is happening over the blade in horizontal direction. So this is what the applied force is. Now we can take out m common. So ultimately inside the bracket it is c2 cos alpha 2 plus c1 cos alpha 1, and outside it is minus m. In case we are only bothered about magnitude, then we can remove this negative sign also. Now some more mathematics. See, c1 is the absolute velocity of steam at inlet, okay, and c1 cos alpha 1 is the absolute horizontal velocity of steam at inlet. Now bd represent the horizontal velocity of steam at inlet and u is the blade velocity. So what is the relative velocity of steam in horizontal direction with respect to blade? Simple. bd is the horizontal velocity of steam at inlet. So bd and u are in same direction. So bd minus u, that is equals to bc, is what? The relative velocity of steam in horizontal direction at inlet. The reason is that in case two particles moves in same direction, and in case we want to find out the relative velocity of one particle with respect to another, then we have to subtract the velocity of one particle with the velocity of another particle. So since vector bd and vector u are in same direction, so bd minus u is equals to bc, represents the relative velocity of steam in horizontal direction with respect to this moving blade. But in case we talk about the vertical velocity of steam, see, AB represent the vertical velocity of steam at inlet AB, and blade is having no movement in vertical direction. Blade is only moving in horizontal direction. So vector AB itself is what? The relative velocity of steam in vertical direction with respect to blade. So vector BC represents, once again I am speaking, vector BC represents the relative velocity of steam in horizontal direction at inlet, and vector AB represents the relative velocity of steam in vertical direction with respect to this blade. So AB plus BC is equals to AC. So this AC represents the resultant relative velocity of steam at inlet. It means what? It means this, that however C1 is the absolute velocity of steam which is with respect to nozzle, making an angle alpha 1 with horizontal. But what blade would see, it will see that steam is coming out with velocity vector CR1 and making an angle beta 1 with horizontal. It is like this in case blade is moving with velocity u in positive direction of x. Similarly, over the outlet, the horizontal velocity of steam, horizontal component, is equals to C2 cos alpha 2. So FH represent the velocity of steam in horizontal direction over the exit of blade. But we can see FH and U are in opposite direction. FH is in negative direction of x, U is in positive direction of x. So the relative velocity of steam at the outlet in horizontal direction would be FH plus U, because we know that in case two particles moves in opposite direction and we want to find out the relative velocity of one particle with respect to another, we have to add the velocity of the two. So same over here, FH plus U is the relative horizontal velocity of steam at outlet with respect to blade, that is equals to FG. Okay. Now in case we talk about relative vertical velocity of steam with respect to blade, is it would be C2 sin alpha 2 itself, because once again blade is having no movement in vertical direction. Okay, so EF, vector EF represent the relative velocity of steam in vertical direction over the outlet. So the resultant relative velocity of steam at the outlet would be vector EF plus FG, that is equals to vector CR2, that is equals to vector EG, magnitude of whom is CR2. It is like this. So you could have got about this new terms, those are CR1 and CR2. So we know that force developed equals to mc2 cos alpha 2 minus mc1 cos alpha 1. Already we have derived over here. Okay, now over here c2 cos alpha 2 is what? FH. So that can be written as CR2 cos beta 2, that is equals to GF minus U. So CR2 cos beta 2 minus U. In place of C2 cos alpha 2, we can write CR2 cos beta 2 minus U. Similarly, C1 cos alpha 1. C1 cos alpha 1 is what? Vector BT. That can be written as what? CR1 cos beta 1, that is BC plus U. Okay, so CR1 cos beta 1 plus U. So in place of C1 cos alpha 1, you can write CR1 cos beta 1 plus U. So you can cancel out this U, because minus U plus U can be cancelled. So ultimately F is equals to M CR2 cos beta 2 plus CR1 cos beta 1. This CR2 cos beta 2 plus CR1 cos beta 1 is denoted as CW, called as whirl velocity, and we can remove this negative sign in case we are only bothered about the magnitude of force, not in which direction it is acting. Now we will learn that how much power is developed over the blade. See, power is having its formula, that is force into velocity. So force developed in horizontal direction over the blade is mcw. Now, and velocity of blade in horizontal direction is u. So power equals to mu cw. This is what the power developed is. Now what is the blade efficiency? Blade efficiency is defined as how much per second work done is developed over the blade, that is what power is, and how much per second kinetic energies of steam is input to the blade. So P, power upon kinetic energy per second, is what blade efficiency is. Power is having its formula MUCW, and kinetic energy per second going to the blade is what? Half mc1 square. Since m is mass flow rate, so this is half mc1 square would be the kinetic energy input per second to the blade. So m can be cancelled, 2 will go to the numerator, so 2UCW upon c1 square is what the blade efficiency is. Now what is gross stage efficiency? See, one nozzle and one blade is called as a stage of steam turbine, or one set of nozzle called as nozzle ring and one set of blade called as blade ring is called as stage of steam turbine. Now to the stage, how much enthalpy input per second is, and on the behalf of that how much power is developed over the blade is called as gross stage efficiency. So enthalpy input in the stage is what? The enthalpy at the inlet of nozzle, not outlet. At the inlet of nozzle is suppose H1, and at the outlet of blade suppose it is H2. So H1 minus H2 into M is what the enthalpy input to the stage per second. So m into h1 minus h2 is what the enthalpy input to the stage per second, and mu Cw is what the power developed is. We can cancel this m, so u Cw upon h1 minus h2 is what the gross stage efficiency of this system. Now what is the vertical force developed over the blade? See, we have talked only about the horizontal force developed over the blade. Vertical force is simple, the momentum change in vertical direction is what the vertical force applied over the blade. So over the outlet, the vertical component of steam velocity is Cf2, that is Cr2 sin beta 2. Cf2 is Cr2 sin beta 2. So m Cr2 sin beta 2 is what the momentum of steam over the outlet of blade in vertical direction. Similarly, over the inlet, the momentum in vertical direction over the inlet is m Cf1, but Cf1 is what? Cr1 sin beta 1. So m Cr1 sin beta 1 is the momentum of steam over the inlet of blade in vertical direction. So final momentum in vertical direction minus initial momentum in vertical direction per second. Since m is mass flow rate, so this is what per second is. So this is what the force developed over the blade in vertical direction. So these are some general attributes regarding nozzle and blade system in a steam turbine. Hope you would have understood it well. So now I will talk about impulse reaction turbine. Means I am talking about those type of steam turbines in which forces developed over the blade is due to impulse reaction principle. Over here you can see that there is a nozzle, a diverging nozzle. Okay. Now steam is entering inside. This is the inlet and this is the outlet. So steam is going inside, expanding in the nozzle and coming out. Okay, so what is the job of nozzle? The job of nozzle is to reduce the enthalpy of steam and increase the kinetic energy. So what will happen? Over the exit of nozzle, the kinetic energy of steam will be more as compared to that of inlet. This we know by the principle of nozzle. So when steam will come out with higher velocity, it will give a reaction to this nozzle. Reaction force by Newton's third law of motion. It is same as that when an inflated balloon is opened, then air comes out from its opening and the entire balloon gets a reaction force in negative direction. So same thing, it will get a reaction in opposite direction. Now in case I fold this nozzle like this, you can see the same nozzle is there over this picture. I am showing by arrow, but it is folded. The nozzle is folded and it is connected by an arm to a shaft. Okay, now what will happen? In such case also velocity would increase, but if this is the direction of flow of steam at outlet, then this would be the direction of reaction as I am showing by arrow. So this reaction force is having two components. Out of that, one component is going inside the screen to push this entire nozzle inside the screen, so it will rotate the shaft in corresponding direction. Got it? So a force is developed on this nozzle which is making the shaft to rotate in corresponding direction. So in case this nozzle is going inside the screen, it will rotate the shaft like this. So when steam will come out with higher velocity, it will give a reaction in negative direction. This is the direction of flow of steam, this is the direction of reaction. One component is pushing the nozzle to go inside the screen and rotate the shaft like this as I am showing by arrow. Okay, so this is what the principle of impulse reaction blades. See, in case we compare, for impulse turbine the blade height doesn't changes and there is no change of enthalpy in the moving blade. Whatever the enthalpy of steam is going inside, the same enthalpy is coming out. Okay, so there is no change of velocity of steam in impulse blade. So the force is developed on impulse blade is only due to momentum change. But in case of impulse reaction turbine, what happens? The force developed on the blade is due to momentum change as well as a reaction developed, because since the velocity increases in an impulse reaction blading system, because actually the blading system of impulse reaction turbine itself is acting as a nozzle. So what will happen? When with higher velocity steam will expand inside, it will come out with higher velocity, it will give a reaction more. So one component of reaction will push the blade in corresponding direction, that is the tangential direction, and it will add on some force on the force developed due to only momentum change. So on impulse reaction blades, the force is developed due to two reasons: one due to reaction of expanding steam and one due to momentum change of steam. This is the reason it is called as impulse reaction turbine. Now in case we talk about the velocity triangles, see, suppose steam is coming out from this nozzle with velocity c1, gliding through the blade and coming out with velocity c2 from this blade. Okay, now in case it would have been a impulse turbine blade, then velocity would have been only eg. Okay, and in case it is an impulse reaction blade, in that case, since the enthalpy change takes place in the moving blade also, so instead of c2 it will come out with higher velocity, that is shown by ej. So you can see that compared to that of fg is the horizontal component of steam at outlet, the horizontal component is now kj, which is greater than fg. So definitely the force developed is given by c2 cos alpha 2 plus c1 cos alpha 1, and m outside, negative is due to in case we are considering the direction. In case not considering direction, we can remove this negative also. So this is what the basic formula, m c2 cos alpha 2 plus c1 cos alpha 1. So in case c2 is more, then c2 cos alpha 2 would be kj, which is greater than fg. So definitely force development over the blade, in case this blade is impulse reaction turbine blade, would be more, because in case it is only impulse turbine, then the horizontal component of steam at outlet is only fg, but in case it is impulse reaction, since c2 is more, so it is kj, so more force can be developed in case of impulse reaction turbine blade. Now one thing we see over here, that force is also developed in vertical direction, because instead of ef, the vertical component of steam velocity is now ek, which is greater than ef. Okay, so we know that the momentum change in vertical direction is responsible for development of force in vertical direction. So what happens, we don't need any force in vertical direction, because blade has to move only in this tangential or horizontal direction. So therefore what to do with this thing, we don't want any vertical force. Now rectification of this problem is, see, in case this is the blade, okay, so steam will glide and come out along ej like this. Okay, now in case the blade is turned like this blue color is showing the turning of the blade. Now the steam will come out as according to the turning of blade is like this. So in that case, you can see compared to that of alpha 2 and beta 2, the alpha 2 beta 2 in new case is reduced. In turn case, the alpha 2 beta 2 are reduced. So in case alpha 2 beta 2 are reduced, definitely this vertical component will also reduce, because this is what cr2 sin beta 2. So like this. So for impulse reaction turbine blading system, the outlet blade angle is kept smaller, correspondingly smaller, so that no vertical force is developed over the blade. Now force developed over the blade in horizontal direction is given by mcw, and power we know that this is equals to mucw. Now what is the total kinetic energy per second input to this blade? See, one kinetic energy is due to this c1, that is mc1 square by 2, and since enthalpy change is taking place inside the blade also, and that is converting into kinetic energy inside the blade also, because in impulse reaction type blading system there is enthalpy fall inside the blade and increment in kinetic energy take place inside the blade also. So since blade is moving, so we have to talk in terms of relative velocities. So the net change in kinetic energy in terms of relative velocities is mcr2 square minus mcr1 square by 2. So this is the net kinetic energy input to the blade, one due to this c1 mc1 square, and one due to increment in velocity due to dropping of enthalpy inside the moving blade, because it is impulse reaction turbine blading system. So that is the change in kinetic energy inside the blade, this cr2 square minus cr1 square upon 2, and of course m is also to be multiplied, but it is common, so it is taken out of the bracket. Now total power output is mucw, blade efficiency would be what, the total power output upon the total kinetic energy input. So we can cancel out this m, so ultimately we will get this formula. This is the general formula for an impulse reaction turbine blading system for blade efficiency. Now some more attributes in regards of impulse reaction turbines, and those are two main attributes which are to be known for in regards of this impulse reaction turbine, that the enthalpy change in a blade upon total enthalpy change in the stage is what called as degree of reaction R. See, Stage means what? One set of nozzle and one set of blade. So what happens? The total enthalpy change in the nozzle and then total enthalpy change in the blade is what the total enthalpy change in the stage, and this is the enthalpy change in the blade. Okay, so for the case of impulse turbine, since there is no enthalpy change in the blade, the enthalpy change takes place only in impulse reaction turbine. Okay, so for the case of impulse turbine, R is 0, but for the case of impulse reaction turbine, since enthalpy change takes place with the moving blade also, so its value is between 0 to 1. Second thing is, in case the R is 0.5, it means 50% reaction turbine. It is also called as 50% reaction turbine. In that case, it is called as Parsons reaction turbine. Okay, so for Parsons reaction turbine, however, I am not going to elaborate all these things. Remember that CR2, relative velocity at outlet, is equals to absolute velocity at inlet, and relative velocity at inlet is equals to absolute velocity at outlet. Similarly, the nozzle angle at inlet is equals to the blade angle at outlet, and blade angle at inlet is equals to the nozzle angle at outlet. Thank you.